Good morning, everyone. I'm Greg Faranello, head of U.S. rates for Amerivet Securities, and welcome to Monday Minutes. Let's talk about a couple of things this morning. First, we'll start with China-U.S., and then we'll move into repo. So China-U.S., and this continues to evolve over time here, with China coming out with intellectual property concessions overnight. We're seeing pro-democracy efforts out of Hong Kong, and we still have the Hong Kong Human Rights and Democracy Act, which is sitting on the president's desk. It's a little uncertain what the president will do with this bill, but the reality is that it had such overwhelming support within Congress that any sort of veto is likely to be overridden. So the market awaits for a phase one trade deal, which, when you look at equities, when you look at the bond market is hedged a little bit as of late in terms of rates moving slightly lower off the extremes of close to 2%, but equities sit at all-time highs. So we are still priced at this point in the year for optimism toward a phase one deal getting done. It's interesting because when you look at last year at this time, the Fed funds rate was headed toward 3%, and now we price 150 basis points lower. So repo operations today over the turn year end, obviously front and center with the hiccup that we saw in September. And the reality is the operations were oversubscribed. So we had 42 billion in bids versus 25 accepted. And the market is going to be watching this closely, right? The Fed here is trying to feel out the market in terms of participation, the who, the why, the what, right? So the primary dealers at this point are being offered very cheap financing, and that money is being taken down. But what's going on behind the scenes is more in terms of trying to reveal some of the market structure implications and some of the participants in terms of who's taking the money and why they're taking the money. So what we would expect going forward here is the Fed is going to continue to provide ample support to the marketplace, and if anything, we would look for that operation to increase in the coming weeks. I'm Greg Faranello, and this is Monday Minutes.